Hey ladies, I'm assuming that the individuals watching this show today are going to be primarily women because today we are talking about pregnancy and whether or not eating high fat is okay when you're pregnant or eating more ketogenic. So, congratulations if you are trying to get pregnant or you're already pregnant. That is awesome. I'm super happy for you. And maybe you are eating ketogenic or more fat fueled, like what I outlined in my program, or you're eating more high fat and you're wondering, like, is this safe for the growing baby inside me? First off, I can't tell you what to do specifically, but what I can do is share what I would do if I were in your position. Preparing for this topic today because I get this question all the time from many of you asking whether or not eating high fat or more ketogenic, low carb is safe for pregnancy. I started researching a little bit to kind of get a feel. I already knew what my opinion would be, but I wanted to get a feel for what was out there. And it was insane to see that there are resources out there that say that ketosis isn't safe for a growing baby because it is an acidic state. So that in and of itself tells me that the individuals writing those articles are a little bit confused on what nutritional ketosis is and the difference between nutritional ketosis and ketoacidosis. Ketoacidosis is a severely extreme, like mega danger state that diabetics get into, usually brought on by skipping their insulin or not taking the proper amount of insulin. Unlike nutritional ketosis, ketoacidosis is accompanied by unnaturally high levels of ketones. Like, we're not talking about the nutritional ketosis state of like 0.5 to 3. We're talking like double digit craziness, along with increased blood sugar levels about 3 times the normal level. And so when you're looking at research or articles specific to keto and pregnancy, it is good to look for keywords such as high acidic state or unnaturally high ketone levels, potentially dangerous situation that causes our blood to be acidic, blah, blah, blah. So if you see those sorts of keywords, it's probably fair to assume that the people that have written those articles maybe have nutritional ketosis and ketoacidosis confused. So I am going to share 7 points on why, if I were pregnant, I would continue to eat fat-fueled, low-carb, high-fat throughout my pregnancy. Point number 1. Did you know that when you are pregnant, you dip into a state of ketosis almost every night when you sleep? Crazy, right? Usually this accompanies a 12 to 18-hour fast for pregnant women. So if your dinner was at 6 p.m. and then you go to bed at 8 p.m. and you sleep until 8 a.m., that's a 14-hour fast. Maybe you don't eat until like 10 when you get to work. And so oftentimes pregnant women will jump into ketosis a lot faster than non-pregnant women. So the first point is, okay, so if a pregnant woman's body gets into ketosis quite easily, how could it be unsafe? Point number 2. So nutritional ketosis is accompanied by a moderate amount of ketones, regulated blood sugar, and way, 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 way lower than what you would ever experience in ketoacidosis. So if a woman experiences ketosis and nutritional ketosis while pregnant, it is a fraction of what they would experience in ketoacidosis. First, you'd have to be a diabetic and mess up with your insulin and all the things. Point number 3, the little baby growing inside of you requires about 30% ketones in order to develop. The little fetus uses ketones to synthesize needed fats for growth. So ketones are a little bit required, which is probably why a pregnant woman's body will go into ketosis while she sleeps to provide the baby with some of those ketones. So we know right off the bat that it's not dangerous for the baby. Number 4, and this is a big one. I know that my body enjoys being in a slight state of ketosis. I know that my body enjoys eating this way. It's the best I have ever felt. So the fact that I feel good eating this way tells me that if I am growing a baby inside of me, I'll probably want to still feel good. And if I'm not feeling good, then I'm going to switch things up so that I can feel good. Point number 5, a ketogenic and more of a fat-fueled eating style, as I outlined in my program, is packed with whole foods. So I would have a really hard time switching to something else because I know that the whole food eating style that I'm eating, that's probably so much better than I could do instead. Number 6, the human body is made up of over 70% fat. So the little baby growing inside of you is probably going to need some fat to like make some awesome things and do and grow and be and create a beautiful brain. So having a lot of fat in the eating style that you're following while you are pregnant is pretty important. Point number 7, and this is so in line with exactly what I'm experiencing. I had amenorrhea for 8 years, so my body was not prepared to have a baby. When I started eating this way, after a year, I got my period back. So that tells me that, when we're using a low carb, high fat, more fat fueled eating style to gain fertility, our body feels safe enough to have a baby. Our bodies wouldn't be fertile in a space where it's too uncomfortable to have a baby. So the fact that I've been in ketosis for over a year and a half and got my period tells me that my body, it feels like it's safe for the first time in 8 years to actually carry a child. So if I were to get pregnant tomorrow, here are 5 things that I would do to slightly adjust my eating style to nurture the baby that's growing inside of me. And I do a lot of this already. In fact, I think I do almost all of the things. This information might be helpful for you if you are following more of a strict ketogenic eating style or classic keto and you're not following my program in Fat Fueled. Number 1, I would eat until I'm full. I wouldn't be restricting what I was eating. I would wake up when I'm hungry, I would eat. I wouldn't go to bed hungry. I would really, really listen to my body. Number 2, I would stop all intermittent fasting. Number 3, this ties in a little bit to number 2, I would switch my rocket fuel latte or bulletproof coffee or fatty drink for something a little bit smaller and have like a breakfast with it, just to look at a case of nutrients and making sure that I'm having enough nutrients in my day to make sure that my baby is growing perfectly. Number 4, I would likely carb up every night, or at least any time that I felt like I needed to carb up. So the baby that's growing inside of you needs a combination of the ketones, obviously, because our body's naturally going into that state when we're pregnant, as well as glucose. I would look at managing things by having a carb up every night or every second night, depending on my body. And if you have a copy of my program Fat Fueled, that would be the Daily Fat Burner Fat Fueled profile. Number 5, I would focus on nutrient-dense fat. So these are things like avocado. And I feel like there was no mistake that the avocado looks like a pregnant woman's belly. It has all the nutrients, vitamins, minerals that you need when you're pregnant. So I would load up on the avocado, also coconut, so coconut oil, coconut butter, all of the coconut things. And I also have clients that have had a lot of success with beef tallow while they're pregnant. And also as a side tip, I had a girlfriend that was pregnant a couple of months ago and she experienced like crazy swelling like all over. And after tweaking things a little bit, we noticed that she was quite sensitive to carbohydrates, and every time she had a bunch of carbohydrates in a day, she would get really, really swollen that night or the next morning. Research from Michael D. Fox that suggests that pregnant women are quite sensitive to carbohydrates. So by reducing our amount of carbohydrates, we might not get swollen as much and be able to go about our day without like the Frodo feet is what we call them, because they were just like so big and swollen. So I hope that was helpful to you and that you could pick apart little things that would help you on your path. I very much encourage you to listen to your body. In my case, I've been eating this way for a year and a half. So if I were to get pregnant, I would just continue eating this way because I know that it works well for me. If you're currently pregnant, maybe adding in some fats here and there really good, but I wouldn't massively switch up your eating style while you're pregnant. So you want to just stay the course and make healthy choices for yourself and really, really listen to your body. And if what I shared today resonates with you and you're like, whoa, what's all this high fat stuff about? I want to learn about using fats to heal my body. You can grab my program, Fat Fueled. I've linked to it up here and you can click on over there and check out Fat Fueled and see if it's right for you. And if you want to hear from me every Wednesday on all things fat and healthy living and maybe some more pregnant stuff if you want it, then subscribe to my channel. Also a link over here. You can go ahead and subscribe. Also below if you're watching this on my blog, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye!